folks, my name is Ashley Starmo and welcome to my channel. So, I have an obsessive personality a little bit. It's nothing crazy. And obviously the two obsessions at the forefront of my mind and the theme of my channel are books and films. So I thought it would be fun to kind of join in on that age-old conversation debate on whether books are better than movies. I agree that books are better than movies 80% of the time. Normally I would say 95% of the time, but I sat down and I thought about it, and there are actually a lot of movies that are just as good, if not better than the books that they were adapted from. Books allow you to see directly into the character's mind, you can empathize with them more. As a reader, you're much closer to the character, which creates more empathy for them in their situation, and you root for them. That being said, here are the movies that I think are better than the books. Number one is Breakfast at Tiffany's. Breakfast at Tiffany's I have a super strong reaction to because it's actually in my top 20 favorite films of all time. I watched the film before I read the book and I fell in love with it. Like, I love, obviously, Breakfast at Tiffany's, Breakfast at Tiffany's, Breakfast at Tiffany's. I love this film. You know, this book is completely different from the movie. And I think I've talked about this before on my channel, but I just want to run through it really quick. I wouldn't even classify Breakfast at Tiffany's, the book, as a romance anymore. Not at all. Like, not at all. I think that, given the era that this film was produced, they softened the outline of the story to make it more marketable to the general public. They skimmed over some of the really important and groundbreaking issues that the author actually covered, including not romanticizing women, such as, you know, manic pixie. It was like an OG be careful of the manic pixie dream girl situation. I think this author was a little ahead of his time. If it were to be adapted today, it would have a totally different plot. The plot points would be different. While the book is good as a standalone, comparing it to the film, I hated. When I was done reading it, I actually, like, genuinely, honest to God, threw it, and I was pissed off at it. And normally that's how I feel when I see a film that was adapted at a book, but this was totally the reverse, because they took something that I absolutely loved. Well, they didn't really, because it's backwards, but like, I had something that I absolutely loved and I had an expectation for it, and it fully foiled that, and it was nothing like what I thought it would be. It makes me wonder if our loyalty to what we watch or what we consume first determines what we like more. So like, if I had read the book more, I probably would have hated the film. So maybe that argument can be made for other movie adaptations or books, you know, whatever. So whether you saw the film first or read the book first, maybe your loyalty lies with that product. Number two, The Maze Runner. I hated this book. I disliked the writing style, I disliked the ambiguity, I didn't really care at all about the main character. I chose to see the movie because I live in a small town and there's pretty much nothing else to do. Dylan O'Brien is charismatic enough in his portrayal that I actually started to care about the character more, which the author didn't do for me at all. At all. I ended up being a fan of the franchise, even though I never touched another book in the entire series. And I think that goes to show that any actor who's charismatic enough to give substance to a character that has otherwise been two-dimensional has the potential to save a franchise and make, while it wasn't necessarily fulfilling in one medium, it can be super fulfilling in the other medium. Big Little Lies, Season 1. So I loved Big Little Lies, the book. I loved Big Little Lies, the show, just like a hair more, just a hair more. To go back to my previous argument of maybe our loyalties lie with what we consume first, I saw the show before I read the book. So that makes me think that maybe that's why I like it more. But regardless, I'm really excited for season 2. And I am super excited for literally anything else that Liane Moriarty, or whatever however you pronounce her last name, writes. I think she's a brilliant writer. I've read some of her other works, and I know that some of her stuff is being made into other adaptations. And I'm stoked. We love a girl boss. Number 4, literally any Nicholas Sparks book ever. I detest Nicholas Sparks books. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if you love them. That's totally fine. I would never like reader shame you for liking his books, but it's not just the fact that it's the same plots and the same characters regurgitated over and over and over. I have literally never read more than 2 chapters of his stuff and not fallen asleep. And I've tried. I've read like 5 of his freaking books, and it just puts me to sleep. I have enjoyed some of his movie adaptations. What's interesting to me is that I'm pretty sure Nicholas Sparks, was a part of production. I don't know if he owns like a production company or how much creative input he had into those stories, but if he did, I think he is actually pretty good at telling a visually intriguing or enthralling story. So that just tells me that I just don't like his pen on paper writing style. The Devil Wears Prada. If you take Meryl Streep and add fashion, that beats anything. I don't care if it's the best book you've ever read. But really, it's a good book. You know I love me some new adult chick lit, but Meryl just makes it better. I mean, that's just like a law. Number 6, Postcards from the Edge. So I love Carrie Fisher. She is one of my idols. I love that she had a hand in editing some of her scripts from Star Wars. I really like her books. Postcards from the Edge is the book of hers that I just thought was okay. I thought the formatting was a little bit strange and it kind of threw me off a little bit. But then Meryl came and made it fun on screen, so it's fine. So I do have a few honorable mentions, and these are films that I believe are just as good, but not necessarily better, but like on equal playing grounds as their book counterpart. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. I think that makes sense. Anyways, honorable mentions. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Book and movie, great together. Princess Diaries. Hold on with me. Princess Diaries, like the book series, so underrated. It's so much different from the film, but I think that the movies and the books would get the same like grade level, in my opinion. They're both so much fun. Jurassic Park, Gone Girl, Charlotte's Web, The Little Mermaid. And what I mean by The Little Mermaid is I love Disney's adaptation of it, but I also really like, I don't know if it's like a Grimm story or whatever, but like the original story that's like super dark and kind of demented. I like them equally in different ways. You know what I mean? And last but not least, I loved the first Divergent book just as much as I liked the first Divergent movie. But only the first one. Anyways, tell me what movies you enjoyed more than the books downstairs. I'd be happy to discuss and debate with you. And yeah, we can compare notes. Anyways, I will be back at you next time with a video on Friday. Thank you so much for watching.